Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting. Welcome to Ascending with Venus Castleberg, a space where we explore the journey of spiritual awakening, expanding your consciousness and raising your frequency to create a whole new world. We'll dive into the possibilities that open up when you choose to follow the whispers and trust your inner knowing. Each episode is designed to guide you in expanding your awareness, tuning into your intuition, and discovering the magic of your life every day. We'll talk about living aligned with your soul's purpose, going beyond limitations, and creating a life and a world worth celebrating. You are here to embrace who you truly are and step into the infinite potential that's waiting for you. Let's ascend together. And now, here is your host, Venus Castleberg.
Hello, beautiful people. It's so nice to be here with you all today, now and in the future. We already have some people popping on. Kyle, Kimberly, nice to have you. Yep, if you're out there, I always say don't hesitate. Just tell me hello. It's nice to know that we're talking to some people. And today I have a very special guest, somebody who I haven't known for very long, but I feel like I've known forever. So you ever have those people in your life? So Ragan Thomson is a spiritual teacher, an intuitive transformational healer, a world service activist dedicated to guiding individuals on a journey of deep healing, awakening, and self-discovery. And we have the honor and the privilege to have Ragan here today. Welcome, Ragan. Nice to have you.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here with everybody. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Ragan, we've had a couple conversations, and one of the things that really stood out for me that you said was that you have Mercury Retrograde has been kind of your thing, like what you've had to really work through. And I know there's probably people out there today that are like, what is Mercury Retrograde? Can we start there?
Yeah, we can start there. We can stay there for a very long time. And I know we have a short amount of time. So I will try to be brief. Yeah, it's been, as a teacher, as a healer, I feel like we came here to share various kind of bigger pieces of lessons or information for the planet. And one of them is to be a teacher of the retrograde cycles. So my system in the past has been just deeply catalyzed into deep healing during retrograde cycles. I can't say they initially started very easy. I mean, it was like an amazing amount of material coming up at once. Any of my past lives, past energetic experiences that were not processed, basically I kind of look at it as various karmic buckets, relationship to self, relationship to other, relationship to the planet, relationship to parents, environment, to work, to partner, you name it, like various kind of specific buckets of energy work to do. And so I think what the difference is with a Mercury retrograde is that it happens to be this deep introspective time, just the way the planet's aligning. Mercury kind of moves into a more of a reverse orbit. It appears that's the perspective. And then the planet kind of slows down and people's energy systems kind of like move into more of a feeling state, an emotional state, connecting to their energy system in a new way. So now there's this like review. There's all the review, reintegrate, recapitulate, you name it. Now you're in this kind of review, but folks don't realize that. So I didn't either a long time ago. I was just getting, as they say, swept up by the energy, or you can kind of ride that wave. So I started to realize I wanted to be more of a surfer and not be just like, overwhelmed by this wave of energy. And over the years, I became more aware of, first off, knowing the time period that they're happening. A lot of people don't know. They're like, I have no idea what's happening. My system is just out of whack. So really knowing the retrograde cycles on the calendar, I started doing that. And then I started to know that there is a pre-shadow to retrograde. There's a direct station to retrograde, more potent time. And then there's a post-shadow. So there's literally weeks, 3 to 4, sometimes 4 to 5 times a year, where we're in this kind of 6-week period where we're actually given an opportunity to do a whole lot of work in a short amount of time. Yeah.
But if you're in it, it may not feel like a short amount of time.
And nor did it when I first started to feel, I mean, my system being so catalyzed into this deep work that I didn't understand. And I think most systems are experiencing that. And it's not just my system. I'm no different than any other soul on this planet. It's just that I became aware of it. So as my awareness grew, it was almost like the divine source, creation, spirit, however you like to call it, came in and said, "Oh, she's aware. So now we're going to give her more. We're going to give her more. We're going to show her more. We're going to like let her see more of her, unresolved material." And that's really all it is. It's just our soul's lessons, our unresolved material, stuff that we didn't get to process in other lives. And then an opportunity to do it differently, an opportunity to choose consciously with a new perspective, and with courage, right? Because some of that stuff can be really uncomfortable. So yeah, it requires courage. It requires discipline to go, okay, I know what date and time it is. It's retrograde. I know that this conversation I'm having right now may trigger me, but if I get triggered, it's my inner work to do. It's not because of probably even this conversation. Something's being catalyzed. Some kind of button is being pushed within my system. And that might happen all day today. And I think that's where the discipline comes in. And it's really an amazing gift. Retrogrades are an amazing blessing. And the cool thing, and so there's always a silver lining, I hope here, that when we do that work over a course of time, which I've learned now during retrogrades, versus feeling swept up or even having to ride the wave, I'm feeling much more balanced and much more open during retrogrades. And that is a really awesome place to get to.
No, I bet. Yeah, and you said in what you were saying, you actually said resolve, and then you were talking earlier about the words, and I really like the word resolve, because you really can resolve things. Like it's not like you have to, like you said, you don't have to be in this chaotic, upset, be triggered place forever. If you're willing to dive in and get things resolved, whatever it is for you. So that's really great word.
Yeah, it is fully a resolve. It can actually be resolved, meaning no longer in your energy system.
Yeah.
Which is like, hey, we want that. We want it to, I think a lot of times folks with healing work, they're like, so does this mean like it's just going to keep coming back again? And what I explain to them, it's not really ever the same layer. It feels like that. That's what's so wild about retrogrades, is that it feels like you're repeating something that's already been there. It's the same thing. Usually with any karmic bucket, there's a few chunks or layers to resolve before it's fully resolved. So someone will say, oh my God, it's like the same thing. It's like Groundhog's Day. Here we go again. Usually it's another layer that looks similar, but you're on the next piece of it. So that's of course, if you're on an evolutionary kind of healing journey and you're staying with it, some people might get a little stuck or stagnant and then kind of feel like they're repeating, and it really is a little bit similar. If you're on a journey, if you're staying with it, most likely it's just a new layer and you're getting an opportunity to see it from a different vantage point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. So there's hope. Anybody out there? Yeah, anybody that's out there that's thinking, "Oh my God, I don't know if I can make it." There's hope.
There's hope, and it also is pretty simple, actually, Venus and everyone. It sounds really complex. I think sometimes we talk about this, but the premise of it all is just love, and learning about love and learning about how to love ourselves and how to care for ourselves and care for the world and love others. I spoke recently somewhere, and by the end, really all Spirit said was, how much love and how much peace can you choose in any moment? And it was really very simple. It's like, oh my gosh, so complex. And I think any healing work that tends to be complex is really not the one for you anyways, because actually to heal oneself, to do this work is really simple. It's just, it takes courage to choose that. And I think the retrogrades at its premise is really about love and care for self and other.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. It doesn't have to be difficult. Lots of people saying hello. Really nice to have you guys. Suzette, Bob, Tammy, Rain, Deepak, Mark. Really great to have you. Thank you for being here. So let's say I'm sure some and if you guys are out there and you want to call in and ask Ragan about your whatever Mercury retrograde stuff you have going on right now, you can call 202-570-7057.
Yeah, please do.
So if so how did you make that transition from it being chaotic, maybe anxiety, maybe right?
Yeah.
To like peace and love? Was there a trick or tool or something that you used to like get yourself there?
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of tricks and tools. Primarily breath has been super powerful for me. I've done a lot of like taking that breath when I'm in that kind of triggered space. And then I'm not talking about just one breath, like really taking a moment, taking a beat. It seems like someone would say, "Oh, what do you mean? You just take a deep breath and it's really like dropping in for a moment, and it only can take 5 minutes." So I think the initial part of the journey was like, "Oh my God, I don't have half an hour. I don't have 45 minutes." And so, I have a full schedule, I have a full life, I have children, I have a marriage, just that quick, like, ooh, I'm triggered, I'm really in it. I would take those breaths, I drop in. And I think the piece that became more important was like getting in connection to what I was hearing myself saying within, right? Like starting to like turn off the noise of the outer world just enough where I go, okay, I'm hearing myself speak, and it's some part of myself usually, right? It's like a lot of what's coming up during these retrogrades is non-integrated aspects of ourself coming to the table, meaning parts of ourself, child selves, ego selves. So they're coming to the table and they have a voice and they're wanting to be heard. And they're like, "Hey, you, I feel sad. I feel lonely. I never processed this childhood, not feeling good enough." So I started to slow down just enough initially years ago to hear a few of those voices. And then I started to engage in some good inner child work. So that's one of my specialties. I help people dive deep into their inner child and then hopefully eventually access their soul, right? First, we got to clear away some of the child cells that are just so loud that they're like, "I still need love. I still need attention. So a lot of retrograde time is really about getting into a self-reflective state of hearing yourself, and you might be hearing many selves. So I think that initial like, "Oh my God, that's chaotic. My mind's taking me on a ride." I realized it wasn't just my mind, it was actually parts of myself seeking attention. So that was really important to start going, okay, what part of myself is kind of at the wheel right now of my system? And it was hard because initially my response to those parts of myself were really critical. I was like, what do you need? And why are you saying that? Like, it depends on kind of like what kind of parenting you received. Some of us received really conscious parenting and loving parenting, and some of us did not. And I had more of a challenging road with that. So I had to learn to become a really loving inner parent. And then as I started to really like be like, okay, well, if I can't understand how to do this as a parent, maybe I can understand how to give it to a dog. I know how to give it to my puppy. But I was like, well, maybe I can transmute this compassion and love that I give to creatures as I'm giving it to myself, as an example, as a way. And I was like, oh, I love you, Reagan, and I'm here with you. And interesting. I'm feeling this like part of myself's getting what it needs now. And that was a little bit of a journey. And again, that's just some of it. And then of course, meditation, I mean, has been so huge in my life. Thank God for guided meditations, um, healing retreats that include meditation, prayer practice. I really feel that slowing down and taking a beat, even when it feels frenetic in the world, and taking that time to listen to and have that awareness of yourself. And then pretty much you're going to hear what you need at that point. You're going to probably either hear, I need love, I need time for myself, I need to play, I need to take a nap. I'm super tired. I'm actually need to stop doing so much. And then usually from there, it's like this catalytic kind of like some part of yourself's like, "Oh my God, thank you for giving me what I need." So that
Mhm.
way I can now tell you what's up within, and that
Mhm.
could be, who knows? So that initial journey of retrogrades became this like journey of 6 weeks of going, okay, I'm going to go into this deep state of inner reflection. And sometimes it was one day and the next it wasn't, right? So, when you're first starting this journey, it's like some days are easier than others. You're going to get swept up by the wave. Some days you're going to be like, you know what? I did meditate today and I did listen. And it's
Mhm.
funny, right after that, I experienced this, joy, this peace, this bit of like, calm within my system.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
It's funny as you were talking, I just was like, oh wow, I actually can totally see where like my body is very expressive to me, and I need to listen to it. But I realized that as a child, I wasn't really listened to. And I was like, oh, that's interesting to have that, like, I love that. Just slow down
Yeah.
and, listen. And what is whatever, showing you, or what do you need?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
A lot of people have not felt listened to. You're
Mhm.
not alone in
Right.
that at all. I mean, and it is actually what's the key about that, I think, is the type of listening that we received.
Mhm.
We might have felt listened to, like a look appeared, someone was listening to us, but then what did they do on the other side of listening to you is the question. Did they try to fix you? Did they not
Mhm.
really hear your feelings? I think there's parts of us that may felt listened to, but how they were responded to after that was tough. It was like they didn't really get to have their feelings, or they didn't really feel like someone really heard them.
Mhm.
Maybe on the other side, someone started to kind of facilitate and say, you need to do this, or you should be this. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't really feel listened to. You look like you're listening to me, but then all you're doing is instructing me how to be.
Right. Yeah. Telling me what to do now.
Yeah.
Or I love, yeah, like relationships are common. Like people often feel like you have to fix your partner, like it's like,
Yeah, I haven't
that's
been
not
through
what
that
it
at
is.
all. Actually, no, I definitely have. I was just talking about, I mean, I'm in retrograde with you all as well right now, and I feel like everywhere I turn, someone's telling me, another recapitulation, a review of something that's happened in their past, and I see it's happening. And they're like, "What is happening? I'm talking about the same thing." And one of mine was that I used to like be a fixer. I
Mhm.
definitely felt like I had all this not listening to me stuff going on in parts of myself. So therefore, when it was time for someone to ask me a question, I was like, some part of myself was like, I have good stuff to share. And especially with my partner, my husband now, we've been married for quite a few years. And I would do that. He would be hurting and I would immediately go into fixing. And he was
Mhm.
like, I don't want to be fixed. He was like, so adamant about it. I was like, I think I'm not fixing right now. He's like, no, you're fixing again. And really, it was just some part of myself that needed to be healed that was desperately seeking to share finally the wisdom that she felt like she had as a child that never got to be shared.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I would honestly say what I've noticed in Mercury retrograde is you might think that you've worked through something, and like you said, there's layers, but then something else triggers it, and you're like, well, maybe not quite. So how do you deal with like it coming up again, or kind of a new layer?
With patience. And I know that's one of the hardest lessons for most.
That's a trigger word for some people out there right now, because I can feel it.
No, I'm being honest, it's so hard. I think the master lesson of the planet is patience, so I'm not saying that's an easy thing to say,
Right.
but what I can say is, I think what we're saying right now hopefully is helpful because a lot of people don't know what we're saying right now at all anyways, right? Like, they don't realize that another layer has rose. So, I think like, such a big part of, I think, healing oneself is having the understanding, right?
Mhm.
Having, like, some, like, different parts of yourself are listening to this right now, everybody's
Mhm.
parts, any parts that are not integrated. So, as truth is heard, as one hears something like this, if it resonates for you, it may not be truthful to all parts of yourself. Some parts are like, I don't believe that. I don't even care what she's saying. She's ridiculous. But some parts are like, wow, that is so helpful. And
Mhm.
when that kind of sacred seed drops into that part, it germinates. So there's like just the knowingness, just the understanding about what Mercury retrograde is, how it works. Um, don't worry, it's normal what you're going through. You're not crazy, right? And this stuff that's rising is literally parts of yourself, non integrated energy, karmic buckets coming up in service to you, not
Mhm.
against you, not for you. Actually, literally for you. Like that
Mhm.
is such an amazing change that you can start going, wow, I had no idea that this fight I had with myself and my partner and this guy who cut me off on the road today and the communication channels that I wish to be on today all broke down, that somehow that was in service to me. Because
Mhm.
here's the key, it's about not about that this like again, we cannot control the outer world, right? There
Mhm.
we can control in a healthy way our own systems, right? We can control our
Yeah.
response to the outer world. The world's going to
Mhm.
keep happening. It's going to keep moving. People are going to transition. Creatures we love are going to pass. We're going to grieve. We're going to feel. We're going to go
Mhm.
through things. We can't stop that from happening. But it's the key is during retrogrades is what is your response to it? And
Mhm.
and that means do you react to it? Do you run from it?
Mhm.
Do you resist it? Or do you respond to it? And that response, you guys, can be so many different things. It could be,
Mhm.
I take that breath. I'm getting really triggered. I say to my partner, I'm taking 5 minutes. I'm heading to the car. I have nowhere else to go. I'm literally going to sit in there and scream for a second. I'm going to let this anger out. I'm going to journal for 20 minutes. I'm going to let the feelings, the energy out of my body and whatever
Mhm.
healthy, constructive way I can come up with. And, I know that the challenge often for folks is they feel like they need a whole lot of time to do this. And
Mhm.
they're like, I don't know what I'm doing and I need half an hour and you know, just 5 minutes. Just
Right.
5 minutes to respond to that energy in retrogrades is
Mhm.
so powerful.
I love that. Like respond instead of resist or react. That's a totally different experience, right? It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Um, so there was a question in there and it went away. Um,
Shoe brain.
so yeah, yeah. Not crazy is questionable.
That crazy
Um,
visual. Yeah. I see one. I'm
so,
actively meditating while cooking, but
but
listening.
listening, yeah.
I love to meditate and cook.
Mhm.
It's
It's a great space for
yeah, it's
it.
a
Yep.
great and doing dishes, finally, I'm not resisting dishes at last.
Was that something you did earlier in life?
Oh, yes.
Res-
I was a total resistor to dishes, and now I have 4 children, so I am doing it's like Spirit was like, "Oh, that's funny. How about you do dishes all day long?"
That is funny. I was resistant to dishes growing up as well. I cleaned the whole house, even the bathroom, so not have to do dishes.
I know,
So
the dishes would start, and my sisters would be in the kitchen doing the dishes, and I was supposed to help, and I'd creep out the back door, And they're like and I was younger, so that works supposedly. I was like, "I'm a baby, I can't do dishes." No, no, I'm definitely it came back full circle. I'm doing more dishes than those ladies ever did dishes, and, I'm starting to really enjoy it. So here's a kind of practical example of and I'm talking about as silly as dishes sound as a like, not a big thing. It has
Mhm.
become one of the most powerful ways that I can see that my system has become more conscious. I mean, the resistance I had to dishes, and now being like, "Look at those dishes. I am welcoming those dishes. I'm gonna do some dishes," and turning it into, like, a meditation. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. What a great, yeah, great example. It doesn't, and as Reagan said early on, if you guys didn't hear it, she says it doesn't have to be difficult. It's not that hard, It's like, and I love what you also said. You don't need a lot of time. You just need to give yourself that 5 minutes to respond instead of the natural reaction or resistance, or, like to make a different choice. What else can you choose in that moment?
And it changes.
If
It expands over time, right after that, right? It's like
Yeah.
5 minutes becomes easily 20 at some point. You're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely taking 20. I mean, it just feels like that 5 is a great start and it's totally doable. And then your system's like, oh yeah, success. I can do 5 minutes. And then it's like, oh, that felt really good. I want 10 minutes
Mhm.
now, and then what felt like it was challenging becomes like a habitual. It's a part of life. It becomes like a conscious lifestyle. So yeah, you start there and you grow over time, and really anybody can take 5 minutes usually,
Mhm.
even in the bathroom at work.
Yeah. 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 If you're triggered by your boss, go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of triggered energy during retrogrades. So it's how to be, as loving and as kind and responsive as we can to ourselves.
To
The
yourself.
world is they're gonna be in it too right now as well, right? I mean, they're gonna be
Mhm.
it's just like, "You did this," and the shaming and the blaming, and "You're making me feel this way," like, everyone's gonna be pointing a finger, and you're gonna be like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not pointing a finger. I'm going internal." And that's where retrograde really shines forth. It's an
Mhm.
opportunity to not point a finger at the world. It's an opportunity to go, "I'm going in," and the great news is Mercury retrograde is right there supporting you to do so. Like you've got
Mhm.
such a force of like beautiful astrological like support. It's like, go
Mhm.
for it. You got this.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you. Well, I know I have some more questions, and the lines are open. If you guys would like to call in and talk to Ragan directly, you can. 202-570-7057. We'll drop it in the comments again. We're going to take a really quick break. We'll be right back after these few words.
Thank you.
Om Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome forward. We are here with Ragan Thomson talking about Mercury retrograde and how to use it to your advantage. That's actually a great question. Like, how do we use it to our advantage? So one of the questions I wanted to ask was, what role does communication play during this time, both energetically and practically?
Mm-hmm. Communication during retrograde. That's a great question. Well, often we've all heard often that retrograde actually causes communication challenges. My understanding is that yes, strangely, that does happen. I feel like what's really going on is there's a collective belief around that combined with the energetic shift of retrograde, right? The Mercury, it's the planet itself. There is a slowing down. It's almost like the systems at place here on this planet are like, get out of whack, get out of wire. They're not able to like keep up with this shift. And, and then we get a visceral experience with having communication breakdowns. So that goes with technology breakdowns, that goes with actual verbal breakdowns. I don't know if you realize during retrogrades where you all are feeling like, I cannot speak right now. My words are literally backwards and I'm speaking words that are not in the right order. What is happening? So, and people are laughing about it because they're like, this is just so weird. I cannot speak right now. And I think in a lot of ways, because we're talking about that deep inner reflective kind of experience that we're actually meant to be going in, that's why, like, we're actually supposed to be a little bit more quiet.
Mm.
I think that spirit, again, however you like to connect, God, universe, creation, is like, hey, shh, go inward. And so you're
Mm.
like, man, my speech is like, it's because it's not really about speaking as much it is, and you'll speak plenty during retrograde. There'll be plenty of conversations to have, but it is about like that slowing down. And then also literally your speech is being catapulted to slow down. I mean, literally, I'm surprised I can even speak right now. It's like your your words can get jumbled, and then you really have to slow down. And then also when it comes to technology, I mean, honestly, I've noticed when we just have a bit of a giggle about it, it turns back on. So it's almost like a little bit like a cosmic joke with technology and communication on the technological front. I used to have, I mean, I have so many stories about the journey with retrograde, but I used to have I would touch the computer, it just break down. I mean, it was like, oh, I'm going to do this podcast. Everything just dissolves. It's like nothing's working. I used to have a fear of technology because I was like, I don't think we have a good relationship. I don't know what's happening here. Even walking up to a cash register at a grocery store during a retrograde, the register would stop working. He's like, I don't know, it's so weird. Everything's frozen. I mean, it would go on for every time. And I was like, I'm sorry, I've just completely frozen the register again. I mean, it's like, it felt very personal and I felt like I was the one doing it. And they're kind of like, actually, this is the first time it happened today. So, I mean, I used to have a really interesting experience with communication, technology breakdowns. I do actually have a business, so I have a staff. And so, I always warn them. I would say, hey, I just want to tell you all it is now retrograde. And so we're all going to need to repeat our communications. Don't assume I got it. Don't assume the email went through. Repeat it, check it. It's definitely a time legitimately to, if you have something important to you communication wise, don't expect that they received it. And certainly don't get upset if they didn't, because most likely they really didn't. And I'm talking about on a verbal perspective as well as sending an email. Like it's almost like, again, spirit's like, how does that feel for you not to feel heard right now? How does that feel for your communications not to land? So that's also a piece of retrograde. I think it's around healing of the throat chakra.
That's beautiful. It's funny because I actually, this particular retrograde, probably more than any other, I've really felt that pull inward. Like just for me, just being like quiet, like seeking quiet, like spending tons of hours in the garden, which is not something I usually give myself time to do, but just happy to be alone.
Oh, that's completely what I did this weekend. I did too. I literally spent hours in my garden and hung out with my new turtle. I mean, I was like, what's going on with you and this turtle? I'm like, I don't know what's happening during this retrograde, but all I want to be doing is sitting in the grass with this little turtle.
That sounds
really
magical. I love that.
And she's so
cute. Yay.
I know.
Um,
Super magical.
yeah. Didn't you say the turtle was golden? Did you?
Actually, I have a new turtle, everyone. Her name is Golden. She's an albino. She's yellow. So she's so cute. Somebody loves turtles. And I mean, it's so amazing. I had no idea I'd have such a divine union with this turtle. And she's so bright and she responds to me and she's just like, hello. She hears my voice. And she now has a partner. I decided to get her a boy. So she's got a divine partner. And they are so cute. I mean, it is amazing what's happening with these turtles.
Isn't it great though? That's one of the things I do love about animals. I have a cat right now in my lap, and they both, like, my animals tend to bring me present, and let go of the world, it'll be there.
That is so true. I have dogs too. I'm not just a turtle person. I love dogs, and I feel like they do the exact same thing. I've had some amazing relationships with animals. I think they have been my greatest teachers beyond my children. And I have 4 children, but I say my firstborn was my first beautiful dog that I raised. They're like, "No, I was your firstborn." I'm like, "No, my dog was, and her name was Mercedes." So, but yeah, the ultimate teacher of divine love and unconditional love. It's been an incredible journey with animals in this life. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
I love it.
So, how do the themes of each Mercury retrograde shift depending on the zodiac signs? Do you know that?
Yeah, I
Or
do.
does that impact it? Yeah.
It does impact it. I mean, the zodiac signs all have different energetic frequencies. I would definitely recommend, if it's in a certain sign, check your sign. Connect it to your astrological chart. It's absolutely very helpful. I pay attention to it. I pay attention to it, like, not in a scientific way, more of a broad spectrum. I am personally a Libra. I have a lot of in any time of the year, really. For example, I am seeking the balance within that energetic moment, for real. I'm looking for, like, how to balance the scales within any time period. So every sign's going to have its weight within the retrograde, accordance to the sign of the zodiac sign within the retrograde, as well as in accordance to the sign that you are. So it does matter. I can't say that's been my ultimate emphasis. I really stay connected mostly to the energy of the support of that, of which these karmic buckets kind of rise, right? I'm more connected to knowing that any conversation I have, any relationship I'm in, anywhere I'm even driving on the road, like literally anything I'm a part of, I can feel is an opportunity for growth. And so, as triggered as I might get, or joys as I feel, it's both a opportunity to see the progress and the growth, as well as possibly what's more to work on. Yeah.
All right. So what are some questions maybe some people could be asking themselves during Mercury retrograde?
How am I feeling right now is a really good kind of bring yourself back to presence. The key is as much as we can come back into our bodies, into presence during retrograde, and the opposite will probably be feeling like it's happening. Like, I am not in my body. I am. So how am I feeling right now? What's going on with me? Like, another great question. It's a powerful one. I've taught it in a lot of classes and all kinds of good stuff. And when people really practice it and cultivate it over time, because it's not something you immediately, I think, understand the power of, but who is it if you hear that voice, you're probably going to hear a few voices during retrograde. Who is it that's speaking that voice, and why? Right. And so that voice, again, could be a child part. And you're going to immediately get that. And you might say, is this ego? Another question, is this ego in my system rising? Or is this soul? Or is this my true divine self? Like, maybe your true divine self's like trying to get a message to you. Like, hey, you're doing great. And hey, don't go to that party. Stay home tonight. Relax. Let's do a meditation. Or a child part saying, I feel really sad right now. I'm having some energy come up around not feeling worthy. And I need you to give me something to help me know that I'm good. And so there's going to be a voice saying something. And usually it's related to worry, fear, concern, doubt, right? During retrograde, some sort of kind of tougher energy. And I think what's happening in our world, since we're such human doers often versus human beings, we get busy, we get going, we get moving fast during retrograde. And it's really a calling to ask some of those questions, slow down, maybe even just ask just the one, how am I feeling right now? And then you can ask a question like maybe like, what do I need right now? What does this part of myself need? What can I give to myself right now to help soothe this energy or to heal this energy? Um, Very simple questions. Then from there, it's if you can commit to that. Can you say yes to that? Yeah.
Yeah, the willingness to even again, just re-emphasizing what you already said, but like just even being willing to take just the 5 minutes, just slow down enough to take that 5 minutes and see what you come up with. One of the beautiful things too, I think that is an invitation is that when you're willing to slow down and you're willing to look at something and you're willing to go into maybe the inner child or whatever, that willingness, you can change it. So then you're not having to like go through the same thing and be triggered by the same thing every time. Like you can actually change it. And that's a powerful reminder. Like we have the power to choose and change anything.
Yeah, agreed with that. And a lot of the work is, we didn't say too much about this, but I think it's important to note. It certainly became more where we're at lately, let's say for the last while as a teacher and a healer, is really the asking for help. Like I'm talking about from spirit, divine creation, and literally surrendering our material over to being assisted. So that can be like, what are you talking about? Is that really work? And it is a practice and it's rapid. You'll rapidly be, anytime we ask, we truly do receive. And if we don't ask, then often we are like, spirit's like, you didn't ask. So what would you like me to work with here today? So it really is, it's an intention setting, it's an asking, it's, when we talk about intention, setting that energy, that tone, but also the just simple practice of saying, I'm really challenged right now and I'm asking for assistance. Can you help me? And right. So when we talk about spirit, we talk about the divine, we're talking about angels, we're talking about guides, some of us have many and they're like, thank you for asking. I would like to tell you some things. Are you willing to listen? And so a lot of that busyness eliminates the ability to hear that assistance. And because you will be guided when you ask, you will be given direction, you will be assisted. It may not always be exactly how you want it to sound. It may not even be the way you want it to look, but you will be given direction, as in accordance to what's in the highest for you at that time.
Amazing. So thank you so much, Ragan. And one of the things that I like to do at the end of the show is usually take people through some sort of guided visualization or meditation. And I'm wondering if there's something that you could maybe take us through today to maybe help us kind of tap in to Mercury, the energies of Mercury retrograde, and maybe move through something today. Would you be willing to do that with us?
Yeah, I can offer a short breath practice if you're all interested. That lends into a little maybe clearing.
Okay.
And, how much time do we have, Venus?
Yeah, we have about 13 minutes.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So I'd be happy to. So let's begin if you all choose to, if you can. Some of you might not be available to do this, but if you can, close your eyes. And if not, that's fine. And let us begin to relax into our seats, relax into our kind of space we're in as much as possible. Really giving yourself that really loving permission to begin to slow down and just kind of set it all down. And take those slow and gentle, beautiful, purifying, relaxed breaths. So just beginning to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Know that in this moment, in this potent time of retrograde, when you're breathing out, you're receiving vital assistance, loving Mercury retrograde spirit assistance. So as you're breathing out, you're gathering white diamond crystal light. You can literally see and envision this white light, and you're gathering it and you're breathing it in. You're bringing in that beautiful white crystal diamond light in through your nose, bringing it into your body, landing in your heart. So this light is the master purifying light of creation, of the divine. It's moving into your heart. You can even see it in your heart now, starting to kind of envelop your heart, wrap around your heart. This white light meditation is basically just helping to purify your heart space at this time, your heart chakra. It's starting to move and clear anything that you will allow to leave, right? So this is a space of a moment of surrender, just like saying to spirit, to creation, I let go, I allow, I give this over. So we're working with anything in your heart right now. So this means any wounding, any past pain, anything that was unresolved from this timeline or any other timeline, anything specifically around love. So many of us are trying to figure out what love is really. Any misperceptions, any limiting beliefs, any beliefs of any kind, any fear around love, any pain, any trauma, any wounding around love, that's what's being worked with right now. So when you're breathing out this unresolved pain, wounding, beliefs, fear. And you're gathering that light every time. You're bringing more light, more support. Mercury retrograde is just a divine light right now. It is the light that is coming into your heart. It's landing in your heart. So much compassionate, unconditional loving support right now. That's what's coming into your heart. You're being held so beautifully, so lovingly by the divine. So as you breathe out, you may begin to feel, right? You could be feeling some energy, right? You might be feeling sadness, or you could be feeling grief. Just know that that's just the energy moving. No need to know where it's coming from really right now, or what part or anything like that. We're just working with the energy as it moves. So sealing yourself with great courage, just letting yourself let it move, getting out of the way. So each breath, you're bringing in more light once more. And on this breath, breathing it into your heart, seeing that light move into your heart. And this time, hold your breath just for a moment at the top of the breath. And see where that beautiful white light wants to go now, right? It's going to travel and move through your energy system as in accordance to where it needs to go, right? There might be some sort of blockage. There might be some sort of energy here. Perhaps the recent retrograde has brought up some triggered energy, which has gotten kind of stored in a specific chakra. Maybe you can feel it in your stomach or your throat. The light is going directly into where it's been stored recently, and you can trust and know that when you get out of the way, the energy work we're doing right now, it so beautifully clears if you trust in it, if you know it to be true and real. This light is moving into your body, into this space now. It's clearing it, it's cleansing it. And again, if you do begin to feel any voices, anything like a part of yourself speaking, it's okay. Just listen for a moment. Maybe some part of yourself is saying, I don't like this, or I'm afraid, it's been really hard. Really just hearing that voice and saying, I hear you. I'm right here with you. I love you. I'm so sorry it's been this way. Right? As we do this light work and can kind of dislodge any of that pain, any of those parts that are like, wow, I really needed this attention. I was calling to you and you weren't listening. If it's in the throat, maybe it's something around communication. If it's in your stomach, maybe it's something around personal power struggle. For some of us, a lot of what comes up during our retrogrades is a lot root chakra oriented, more of the lower chakra energy going down to the root of your body. This fear of safety and security and survival, the foundation of our system getting rocked. Feel that right now the light is moving through your entire system. For some of us, it's still hanging out in some part, but for some of us, it's starting to move through your entire central channel. The light is literally bathing your energy system if you so choose. And these messages, these voices, they're all getting what they need. They're all feeling the love and the light and the compassion of spirit, this kind of overarching healing that's beginning to happen. And just feel it. You're just feeling that if you didn't know about this compassion or this type of love, you're being taught what it is right now. So much love, so much compassion pouring into any part of your energy system, any part of yourself beginning to say, wow, I'm getting what I need. Thank you. And some parts resisting, and that's totally fine. Some parts that don't know this light yet. And feel this beautiful light of the divine moving through your system, so much so that it's beginning to wrap around your chakras, it's wrapping around your energy system, it's wrapping around your body, it's around your auric field. It's again, you are wrapped in this cocoon of so much unconditional loving light. You're being given an opportunity to be bathed with the divine. And anything that's happening during retrograde, perhaps even in this moment, you're starting to get clarity about what it really was about, what it has been about. And you're being offered the infusion in this cocoon of light, this being bathed in this light, hope, resilience, strength, and courage to meet whatever comes, meet whatever is here now in a totally new way. That you see that these buckets that have been kind of rising and didn't really know what they were before, you're starting to see them clearly. Your energy system is literally wrapped in clarity right now. Your intuition being turned on, your chakras becoming clear, your system becoming more highly functioning to be able to handle and kind of work with what's coming in the times that are here now, some of the pain that's been rising here now, right? Some of this discomfort. And there's a limiting belief for many people that is being worked with, which is pain is a problem. I don't like it. It hurts me. It's transmuting now into pain is my greatest teacher. And so when it comes in, I don't try to resist it. I embrace it, learn from it, and it dissolves rapidly. So different. It is your teacher. It is actually there with your lessons of your soul knocking at your door. Our response to it is everything. So just a few more deep breaths before we close. Feel that on each breath, you're just allowing more to leave that does not serve you. With such great courage and patience and willingness, each breath, gathering that light, breathing out the remaining of what does not serve. And feeling the infusion of courage and hope, resilience and strength, filling those spaces within your system, any of those kind of places of density right now, wherever you will allow it to go. Really, again, how good can it get for us? How wonderful can it be? It's simply in our allowing that to be so in this moment, as much as you will allow. And feel that the ultimate gift of this energy work is peace. So much peace. And that you deserve this peace. And you're not separate from it. You are this peace. We thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, honey. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, talk about so much more lightness and ease. And I hope you all got something out of that. That was really beautiful. And thank you, Ragan, for all of your information on Mercury Retrograde and how we can use it to our advantage. For those of you who don't know, we are having a How Do You Know You're Not Crazy Summit and Ragan is one of our very special guests on the summit. Today we talked about Mercury retrograde. In the summit, we're going to talk about something else because Mercury will be out of retrograde. so we'll move on to a different subject. But I thought I just could feel that there was such a need for this conversation for some people out there, like, and just to know that there is hope and there is a way to like transform it. And so grateful, Ragan. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll see you guys at the summit.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.